Guarandiri, guan, 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 guan. Ah, guan, 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 guan. Guararia, guan, guan, guan. Sili, wili, 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 guan, 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 guan. ¡Vamos allá! Vamos a ver, vamos a ver, vamos a ver. Vamos a ver, vamos a ver. Señores, quiero cantarle al amor, oigan bien. Y a todo aquel que lo sienta, quiero cantarle al amor. Vamos a ver, 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 vamos a ver. Y a todo aquel que lo sienta, no es cosa sencilla esta cuando se trata de amor. Oigan palabras sencillas, oigan bien. Tan solo de 4 letras. Es muy fácil pronunciarla, pero todos lo demuestran. Hay quien no lloró por amor, oigan bien. Yo quiero que alguien me diga, para luego responderle que esto es una gran mentira. Repito palabras sencillas, vamos a ver. Pero se sufre bastante. No es mentira, no es alarde, si se sufre en el amor. Oigan, y no es que lo diga yo, pero si algo ya afirmo, de que no está en mis manos, pero sí en las de Cupido. Mira, yo tengo un amor sincero, que sí me quiere bastante. Yo tengo un amor sincero, vamos a ver, que sí me quiere bastante. No confundan, caballeros, estoy hablando de mi madre. Ya, va, 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 vele, vele, va, 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 va. Yoruba. Vamos a ver, vamos a ver, vamos a ver. Oigan bien, vamos a ver, vamos a ver. ¡Qué lindo! ¡Vamos allá! Oiga, quiero cantarle al amor, quiero cantarle al amor, esta linda melodía nacida de corazón, repítelo.
Quiero cantarle al amor, quiero cantarle al amor, esta linda melodía nacida de corazón.
Señores, quiero cantarle al amor, quiero cantarle al amor, esta linda melodía, nacida de corazón. Díselo.
Quiero cantarle al amor,
Guau, guau,
quiero
guau.
cantarle al amor, esta linda melodía, nacida de corazón.
Mi madre yo la venero, por eso quiero cantarle al amor. Esta linda melodía, nacida del corazón. Oye,
Quiero cantarle al amor,
dice,
quiero cantarle al amor, esta linda melodía, nacida de corazón.
¿quién no ha llorado por amor? Ya que me diga, para decirle mentira. Oye, todos sufrimos y lloramos. Sí, lloramos porque se amamos. Repito, mi madre yo la venero. Madre, por eso tanto te quiero. Madre, no quiero que te vayas nunca, no. Oye, sin ti no tengo alegría. No quiero que llegue ese maldito día. Madre, que tú tengas que irte. Oye, tanto cariño me diste. Madre, que olvidarte lo logré. Mamá, tú me pudiste dar fe. Oye, tantos años de victoria. Madre, te llevaré la memoria. Madre, pero tú eres mala que cabe. Madre, pero tú eres la llave. Oye, porque afino mi tango. Dice, llora como yo lloré. Ahí, háblalo.
Are we live?
We are live. How you doing, CT Duel?
Doing excellent, Brother McAtee. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good and still figuring out the production aspect. Good. Welcome.
You're doing a hell of a
Welcome.
job. Thank you, man.
You like that music?
I did not hear it.
No, you didn't hear any music? Shit. All right. Well, next time.
El siguiente.
No pasa nada. Pa' siguiente. Welcome. This is what has become our twice weekly live. My name is Danny McAtee. This is my friend and co-host, CT Duel. This is the Forge Men's Group, and we talk about issues that we believe affect men from a place of our lived experience, and we would love for you to join us and hear about yours.
We also
CT.
wear cutoffs. So if you come on the show, just know.
We also just let it all hang out, and it's okay for you to see the truth. Cut off.
It's a men's group.
What are you gonna do? I mean, if I could figure out how to do this in front of a barbecue pit, maybe I would do that too.
That would be a setup, man. Grilling up a burger on the side.
I mean, it's interesting because part of the point of this group is to define what masculinity means to each of us, and for each of us, it'll be slightly different. There are some societal standards. I think that there are some pretty basic. I don't know that if I could presume to say universal standards, but there's certainly some widespread standards that people expect of men, and there are probably many more that we expect of ourselves. How many are realistic and how many are not? It's part of the conversation.
You know what? On that note, man, I'm gonna put you on the spot. How would you define masculinity? I'm gonna say I have a succinct definition I just read the other day, so I'm gonna cheat and steal that. But how would you what is masculinity anyways?
Damn you. Well, I put in the comments a suggested theme, and let me just put this in the comments. The truth is, I don't know. Okay, I don't know. I think that it changes over time for me. I think that what's happening right now is I'm in a place where we talked about this in weeks past, where I'm like, no one can cancel me anymore, but I still have to don't say that part out loud. I still have to
So that's what's going on in your head right now. Like, oh shit, can I say this?
Yeah, there was a little transaction about what, and fuck it, I don't care. my comments are never meant to hurt anyone. My comments are my thoughts based on many years and decades of observation and lived experience. So with that, I'll say I do believe in subjective reality, or excuse me, an objective reality. This is a group for men, and I do believe that there is a binary in nature. You know, does there exist a gray area in between in nature? Absolutely, of course, it's well documented. But I do believe that there are certain biological, objective truths about being men. Those have changed because our society has changed, but our society has changed very quickly in the last 100 years, but our biology has remained the same for 300,000. Okay, since human. So for me, a man means being capable of protection and willing to protect when necessary. Also humble enough to know when it's not necessary and to be quiet and have a conversation. I think it means having integrity and being true to your word. I think it means being willing to lower your head and say, you know what, I was wrong. I messed that up. I apologize. I'm going to fix it. Right? I believe that it means all of those different things, but how it has come out and how we show up is very different based on a lot of different factors. And that's somewhat of a non-answer, but it's kind of like saying, sort of like the question, you know, describe the color blue.
Right. Yeah. To someone who's colorblind.
Yeah. How do you define it?
I like your definition, man. That fits nicely into the way I think about it. Even the being able to admit when you're wrong in a way that's like taking ownership of your wrong. Someone the other day was saying, giving kind of an example within this context of masculinity, he heard a couple arguing, man and woman, and the woman was like kind of yelling at the man, "Why did you forget that thing at home? I thought you had it." And he said, the guy with impotence just said, "I thought you had it." And that was it. Like, I thought you had it. And then he shut down. Instead of taking ownership, like, you know what? You're right. I did forget that thing, whatever it is. I made that mistake. I apologize. Let me own that. I think that's the masculine approach there. But the definition that I heard was it's groundedness and direction.
Groundedness and direction. Wow.
Simple
Say
and
more.
powerful. Groundedness and direction, which women can embody that energy too, right? But yeah, it's staying grounded. So in that example from a moment ago, to stay grounded, own your mistake, right? And then provide direction on how to move forward instead of just shutting down and kind of going avoidant, right? So I feel the most powerful when I'm grounded, even in chaos, in arguments. Like when I just lose it all or shut down, that's when I'm like, damn, I don't like how I did that. But yeah, man. So I felt that was a succinct but accurate definition. Grounded.
Interesting.
Direction.
What came up for me was grounded in what and going where, right? And so part of my argument is, and this has changed in recent years, is part of my argument is that if we go back to our biology, right? If we go back to an objective truth about biology, men protected the herd, men protected the tribe, men hunted and went out and fought the animals to kill the meat to bring it back. Right? Women ran stuff at home. Women birthed children. Arguably, the hardest part of society is gestating and bearing children. It's something that I'll never fully understand. And this is in the binary of today's culture. I mean, I don't want to get too philosophical, but in the binary of today's culture, people tend to see things in terms of better, worse, good, bad, and therefore think that everything is unequal, right? Where there is just a biological fact that men and women had developed roles over many millennia. And my belief is that biology is there for a reason. And because we've tried to tamper with it so much today, for instance, most men don't have real threats to protect anyone against today, which is great news because the majority of men that I observe, at least in North America, couldn't protect anyone from anything because they're neutered, right? That same thing you saw me be like, stall out and have a moment of fear about an idea or a word is what you see in society when there's an actual threat and guys are just like, I don't know what to do. Many of whom wish they could or want to be able to protect someone, but think if I smack this person who's posing a physical threat, I'm going to go to jail. So instead, I'll just do nothing or record it or whatever, or leave, right? Flee. And so I believe that because today we do not have almost anything that we have to protect anyone against, barring the military, barring first responders, and a few other examples. But in most society as a whole today, that has been eliminated from men. So what happens is they find a threat somewhere else, right? That threat is replaced with the woman that's asking, how come you didn't bring this? Right? That's replaced by, the fuck are you looking at? Right? And generating a conflict somewhere to blow off steam, right? Or to get that energy out. And so I see that it comes out in artificial ways. You know, and that's not even that. I mean, that's just talking about like heteronormative society as a whole. That's not in any other variables. And so what I find myself asking now is, how much of that biological urge, impulse, or instinct that we've had for, like I said, since Homo sapiens crawled up out of, you know, of what came before us 300,000 years ago. What do we do with it? Right? What do we do with that in order to fulfill a role as a man? Right? And I don't know the answer to that. I could tell you, I could speak on what I do. But if you think about it, in 1920, most of the United States did not have energy in their house, electricity. Right? So moving from 1920 backward, before there was communication, transportation, and things inside the house, such as running water and electricity, men had to do a lot more things that were closer to that biological role, right? In terms of protecting and harvesting and hunting. And so it's only been in the last 100 or so years that we have moved into a society that's eliminated most of those threats. I mean, I certainly feel like I'm in the fucking jungle when I'm in a city. I mean, it feels like there's all types of threats. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't mean this to be philosophy class, but when I've been thinking about what is a masculine, what is masculinity, what is a man, and how does that show up for me, or what does that even mean for me? Right? And that's what comes up.
Yeah, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. Yeah, I think unfortunately many men are growing up thinking that just the word masculinity, the idea, the energy behind it, whatever, is bad. All of it's bad, right? I used to do this myself, right? Kind of suppress those parts of myself, suppress any aggression, assertiveness, which then took away my assertiveness, which both can be good, right? You need some aggression, you need assertiveness in life. Yeah, man, I see this a lot when I look across today's landscape, man. It's unfortunate.
What even is masculinity? If anyone's watching, I would love to see a comment. I would love to have you join us on camera live and tell us what you think. I mean, there's no right answers. There's no wrong answers. There's only your answer and your lived experience. So I'd be fascinated to hear about it.
Absolutely.
Here's one for you. This topic of what even is masculinity fits into something I'd like to throw out as a topic of discussion today, which is, what's the story I keep telling myself to justify staying small? I don't know why that shows up under you, but what is the story I keep telling? And I notice there's a typo. But what is the story I keep telling myself to justify staying small? It's not my job to protect them. Let them protect themselves.
Mm,
You know, if I
If I-
if I blank, then blank is going to happen to me. If I try to step in the middle of that fight, I'll probably get stabbed or shot. If I smack that person who's robbing the Walgreens, I'm gonna catch a case over, right? They're gonna sue me. Is a big one. And I've felt that all the time. Like the fear of being sued or reprimanded, legally in some way was such a big fear that it moved me into inaction, complacency. What do you think about when you hear that?
Yeah, man. A lot of these, if I do X, then Y happens, right? A lot of these, it definitely fits into what we were just talking about. Like in relationships, if I have my opinions, boundaries, step up and take the lead, then that makes me bad. That makes me controlling. That makes me too aggressive, right? So that's what you see in a lot of modern relationships. I'm no relationship guru. Uh, but that's what you see in a lot of modern relationships is that the man has those fears of if I step up, if I take the lead, if I set boundaries, if I assert myself, share my opinions, if I'm not agreeable, then that makes me like my dad. And my dad's a bad guy. Or that makes me a toxic masculinity guy. That makes me bad.
Mm.
Yeah, I see a lot of that.
Okay, so but what do you see a lot of that? But tell me about your life. Like, how has that shown up in your life, and what do you do with it?
Like I said, man, I suppressed the more masculine parts of myself for years because it's if I exhibit them, then I'm bad. Like I said, if I exhibit them, then I'm my dad, and he's a bad guy, so I can't do that. Yeah, yeah, that definitely showed up in my previous relationships. If I assert this boundary or opinion or disagree with you, then you'll leave me, and then I'm in shame because I'm bad, right? So yeah, that's how that's shown up for me.
Has it manifested in your relationship with women?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, that's kind of what I refer to, right? When I'm speaking on this topic is in my previous relationships with women, it's I have to stay small. I have to stay agreeable. I have to stay go with the flow, be cool, don't cause trouble, don't piss her off. That's weird. Where did I learn that? Where did I learn the notion you can't piss a woman off, you can't not get approved by a woman? Um, yeah, man, it's definitely impacted my relationships with women. And over time, I've slowly had to start strengthening that muscle again of, oh no, you can have boundaries, you can have opinions, you can be assertive, you can take the lead, right? You can set direction, you can make decisions, and it doesn't mean you're controlling, right? I think we conflate those. I certainly have conflated those a lot. Of if I take the lead and say, hey, let's go here at this day and time, this place, then that means I'm controlling somehow. No.
Making
So
decisions versus being controlling.
right. Right. So that's one of the stories I was telling myself to keep myself small. Like, oh no, hey babe, you pick, right?
Mhm.
What do women love more than nothing else? When their man just goes, no, I don't know, you do it. Fuck no. In my experience, that just pisses them off. Like that's just annoying when you can't make a decision, take the lead. So yeah, man, for years I certainly conflated those two things, making decisions, being controlling.
Interesting. I mean, that certainly sounds familiar to me. Although I would take the word controlling out and put in aggressive. Right?
Mm,
If I am assertive, that equals being aggressive.
yeah.
If I tell you no 3 times and 3 times you ignore me, and the 4th time I throw a bottle through the window, are you listening now? Right? That is aggression, right? That is aggression, but it's using that extreme example. When I raise my voice, it feels like that.
Mhm.
Right. And so over time, I've been like, how do you establish boundaries? What I learned over time is that people only listen to me when I'm loud.
Mm.
Because I'll sit here and I'll be like, hey, CT, I just want to let you know something. Steamroll. Hey, CT, I just want to tell you something about this. Third time. I've now told you 2 times and I feel like you haven't heard me. So what do I need to do to make you hear this? No response. 4th time, boom. Right. And so where I went in that direction over time was either say it once, say it twice, and then be quiet and just let whatever happens happen over time, and then begin to feel resentful and ignored and unimportant, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Or just say nothing from the jump. Right? Have no opinion, be fucking neutered. And to me, that feels emasculating. Right? That does not feel masculine.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, that feels like, sitting there like a little bitch, just let people, drag you.
What happens in your relationships when you just let it sit and you build resentment?
It's kind of like the pencil tapping, like you're in math class, and the person next to you is tapping, tapping, tapping. You're like, yo, chill it with the pencil. Yo, I'm trying to concentrate. Stop it. Yo, hey, listen to and then the 5th time you like flip the table over and you're, something small has a disproportionate reaction. And that's been the case in my relationships where I'm like, I don't know how to get your attention here. Like, I feel like I've told you this 3 times. I feel like you've looked at me and heard me 3 times and then ignored me 3 times. Why is that? Right. And then I get like frustrated. Right. And it feels like being ignored to me is like the worst. Right. If someone heard me, it was like, I'm going to tap my pencil all fucking day long. I could be like, okay. I'd be like, not if the pencil's in your neck. Then it's like you can at least work with that. If someone's like, fucking, this is my method. I tap pencil to understand math. Like, either move across the room or accept it. I could be like, oh, okay, that's one thing. This person just denied my request. Fine. But, or to me, it was like, yo, I'll try, but I'm probably going to tap a little bit. You're just going to have to either move or deal with it. I'll be like, okay, I totally live with that. But just being completely ignored to me it goes back to a very early place, right? That definitely has a strong childhood, stonewalling, ignoring. And how it shows up in my relationship is resentment. Because in my mind, it's like, if I am unimportant to you, then you will ignore even the words that come out of my mouth.
What do you do when someone stonewalls you or kind of just ignores you? Has that changed over time? Yeah, I guess that's the question. What do you do, and has that changed over time?
It's changed over time because I was in a marriage where that was like the baseline of communication. And for a while, I was like, am I crazy? Like the first like third of it was me like thinking, I don't know if I'm not. There's also a language barrier, like I'm Spanish English language barrier. So I'm like, am I not saying, like, does this not make sense when it comes out? Do I think I'm saying it, but I'm really not saying it? Do I think I'm being clear, but I'm not? Like the first was like inward reflecting, like change my delivery method. And then in time, I was like, no, I'm 50. I've been I feel like I'm a pretty decent communicator. I've been communicating with people my entire life, and I just said that, and it just got ignored. Right, and so now it's just kind of like, I think I would say consider the source. You know what I mean? My needs are much different, and fewer people have to know about them. And I would say that I've shifted more toward observation and away from conversation. And what I mean by that is that if pencil tapping, just using this as a metaphor, if I'm around a pencil tapper, that person is inherently unaware of themselves if they're tapping a pencil in a math test. I prefer to be around people who have a little bit of self-awareness. So most of the people in my circle are just not pencil tappers to begin with because they're aware of how their behavior affects people outwardly, right? I'm also around a lot of people that, when there's something that's like, and I don't, I say it like a need, like, I don't really feel like being in a nightclub with this lot of drinking and loud music. They're like, oh, okay, well, let's do something else. What does that look like for you? Right. And so there's like this exchange of ideas. People call that normal communication. And so for me, it's shifted more to I need a lot less and I pull back. And also the people I'm around have a lot more willingness to meet in the middle. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does. I tend to be a bit too extreme when it comes to just not being around people, like pencil tappers. Someone does something, and I'm like you said, I just want to be around people that aren't pencil tappers from the jump. And maybe that's for me. Maybe sometimes I'm like, damn, am I too extreme? Is that too extreme to just be like, you know what, fuck pencil tappers. I'm not fucking with any of them. If you are a pencil tapper, I just can't. We're not gonna click, man. But sometimes I'm like, well, damn, is that too harsh? Is that too? Am I just?
There's a balance, right? There's a sweet spot. There's a sweet spot, which for me meant my sweet spot. I think I'm moving more toward the middle, toward my sweet spot, because my tendency has been please everyone, accept everything. If I say anything, I'm needy, I'm aggressive, I'm bossy, I'm whatever. So I'm just going to be quiet. And if I'm quiet, everyone's cool. Right.
Yeah.
This is a hallmark sign of certain types of childhood trauma is over accommodating your environment. Like if everyone is comfortable, then I'm safe. If everyone's comfortable, then I'm good. And so that means I inherently feel that I have no worth or less worth because my needs are unimportant to myself, right? And so in the extreme of that type of codependency means always saying yes, people pleasing, accommodating everyone's needs, abandoning of my own needs. And then the opposite looks like that of being like hyper controlling, talking about boundaries all the time, and then being a picky prick or alone all the time. And somewhere in between those is the middle ground. Whereas you said, like the pencil tappers, I observe a lot of people's behavior now. And we've talked about this in weeks past, but part of what my process looks like now is the pain of choosing to be alone over choosing to be around people that aren't worth the shit.
Yeah, that's hard.
Right? As opposed to just having like a placeholder or be like, well, at least I'm not alone. Right? And so part of that process of change is also identifying, okay, I've had a pattern that set me up to be around a certain type of people. I now understand that doesn't work. And so I have to change it. But as a result of changing that, I'm changing my pattern of behavior. And that's going to secondarily cause the people who are around me to change. Right. And that transition can feel like abandonment. It can feel like loneliness. Right. And so for me, I've had to consciously remind myself that as we become new people, as our circle changes, it's a transitional time that can feel lonely. And there's ways to feel it. There's the ways to feel that healthily. Right.
Yes. I'm learning those healthy ways to feel it. For me, what does that look like? Instead of isolating a few more hours, let me go to yoga. Do some fucking yoga, man. Stretch with other people in the room. Makes you feel good. Been doing breath work. Go walk around, man. Just talk to people.
You've also
Call a
moved
friend.
20 different countries in the last 20 days.
20 countries in 20 days. I don't have any stable friendships. What the fuck? Why not? Yeah, man. So yeah, if anyone knows how to fucking well, I cope unhealthily as well at times too, but yeah, man. So what I was gonna ask you, I shared some of mine, right? Go to yoga class, get out of the house, get around some people. Fuck, even at home, do some breath work, journal. but not take it so far where I'm just in the house journaling all day. It's like that probably isn't good for me either. What do you do, Magazine, when you're in that transitory phase and it's kind of lonely?
Yeah. Welcome viewers. I see there's a few of you in here that have just jumped on. My name is Danny McAtee. This is CT Duel. This is the Forge Men's Group, where we're talking about a couple of different issues. What's come up today, or a question we've posed to ourselves as the group today is, what even is masculinity? Define it. What does it mean to you? And CT and I are now talking about, what's the story I keep telling myself to justify staying small? And CT just hit me with a question. As we change environments, sometimes a changing of a social circle or changing of pattern of behavior, stop drinking, stopping gambling, stopping drugs, eliminates what feels like or is a pseudo community, right? And in the elimination of that pseudo community or community can feel very isolating. And so CT's question to me was, what do I do with that? That's healthy. To be honest, the hard part for me has felt like I am being fucking too idle, right? And so the last few weeks I've been like, today I'll get up at 6 a.m. Tomorrow, oops, I overslept and it's almost 8. No big deal. I'm retired. I can do that, right? It looks like going to the gym a lot more. So I'm seeing my trainer 3 times a week. Even my hands are sore today. It looks like taking the dogs on a lot of walks. It looks like being on the beach a lot. Right? It looks like reading books. And so for me, it looks like slowing down and being in an environment in a much less structured way than I have in the past. Got to get up at 4:30, got to do this, got to be at the gym at this time, then come home and do this, right?
Mhm.
There's no need for that. And so I'm trying to loosen up on some of that structure and put myself in new environments. And what's come up is interesting, right? You know, both of us have talked about ways that has shown up negatively for us in the past. What's the perfect place to feel like you're in community? The bar room. That's the perfect place. That's the whole point of a bar room, is for people that don't necessarily want to be isolated, but don't really know how to be around people healthily. I'm not saying that bars are bad or nothing like that, but they are definitely a pseudo community that can go south very quickly. People lose control of it very easily. Especially here in Puerto Vallarta, where there's so many people who are pensioned or away from their home communities. And I come out of the gym sometimes at 8 a.m. I've been in there for an hour and a half, and there's already people sitting at the bar, throwing them back, smoking cigarettes. And then at 5 o'clock, when I go out to get something to eat, there they are still, or again. Right? So the bar room can be a place that's like an artificial community.
I think our viewers are fans of the bar because our viewership dropped when you said, "Hey, the bar is not a."
They're just like, "Fuck you, I'm out."
Yeah, they're like, I'm going to fucking bar. But yeah, that can be. You've been on them deadlifts, man. Your hands are sore.
Yes, even my knuckles feel sore.
You been getting on them deadlifts, huh?
We're doing like military like burpees, but where you do like a burpee Spider-Man, so you're going over to the side.
Oh shit.
Burpee, side, front, up. It's like a modified burpee, and it's like flexing your hands and going like this. Box jumps.
Box jumps. Shit.
And he's like, land like a cat, no sound. Come on,
no
man.
sound. Oh.
So you have to jump up on the box and be like,
hell yeah.
I'm like,
yeah,
this is a lot of white boy to not make any sound when I'm jumping up like that. Like this is
it's a lot of white boy flying through the air to not make a sound when I land. Damn, man. And it's a good point you made. The bar, that's certainly how I used to use the damn bar. I don't know how to interact healthily with people, and doing it sober scares the shit out of me. But I don't want to be at home jerking off. So I'm going to the bar. I might jerk off when I get home from the bar. but it's not even funny. It's true. But for a few hours, I'm going to be at least around people. That was my MO back in college.
Well, so
to a
what's your
bar.
sweet spot then? I mean, it's like jerking off is not inherently bad or evil. Going to the bar is not inherently bad or evil. It's like a handgun. Handgun is not inherently bad or evil. It's how we use it and the intention with which we pick it up and brandish it, right? And so how do you project your needs into an environment that could be unhealthy?
I applaud anyone that can do those things and not self-destruct. And do them in moderation. The 1% of people, I don't know. For me, it's always just I gotta go completely sober. Like quit drinking entirely and stop going to bars.
Okay.
Like for me, like 1 foot in, 1 foot out never worked for me. Like why am I quit drinking, but I'm still in bar environments and going to clubs and shit. What the fuck am I doing? So, I mean, as someone who can't or who has decided not to do it in moderation, I just assume that not very many people can. Um, but yeah, so for me, it's just been swinging to the opposite extreme,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Thank you for that. I think a lot of people can. I think I'm one of them. The problem is that you don't see them that much because they're only there for 20 minutes,
Right.
right? They come in,
And
they
they're not
use the
acting cool.
bathroom, they sit there, have a drink, talk for 5 more minutes, be like, all right, it's good to see you. All right, I got to go and do this, that, and that, and they're out.
Yeah. Right. They're not there at 3 a.m. to
No, they don't
fuck
close it
around.
down. No. Like I've mentioned before, like I've actually been trying to go out a little bit more. I'd be like, I don't drink alcohol very much. I'm very cautious with alcohol just because I think it's unhealthy. I was like, and I can also go to a bar and not have alcohol. Like I have no issue with that. But every now and then I do like a Negroni. So I'm like, okay, well, instead of going out at midnight when I'll be in bed, I'll go out at 8, which here is the same as being when it's closed because you're probably going to be the only one in there with the staff. You go in, go call somebody and be like, hey, you want to have a drink from 8 to 9? Like a lunch.
Yeah.
I think for me, what really works about going to a bar with someone is a begin time and an end time. Hey, I'm going to go have a Negroni. I'll be here from 8 to 9. If you'd like to join me, welcome. Come on down. At 9:10, I'll be on the bus.
Right. Not just leaving it open.
Right. And so this has been something that's a little unusual for me because I have done a lot of behaviors that are uncomfortable. Inviting someone to do something, one, right? Because I've always been like, no, they're going to say no. And then I just don't say anything. And that continues the isolation spiral. But I'm like, hey, excuse me, a couple of times I put on Facebook, hey, I'm at this location. Anyone who wants, come by, have a drink. Or send a text to a couple of people. I'm going to be here from 8 to 9. Then I'm going to go home. And what that does is it begins to rebuild my community with people that respect boundaries.
It's like an auto filter.
Because the first one is like, come on, let's just have shots at 10. I'm like, see, you're already not, in my mind, I'm like, you're not going to respect boundaries.
That's a habitual line stepper immediately. Let's have shots at 10. And I just heard a story you tell yourself to justify staying small. They're not going to respond.
Yeah, they don't want to hear from me. They're not going to respond.
Right. Because in my experience, the deeper belief is that I can't handle whatever happens. Like the story I tell myself to justify staying small at the end of the day is I can't handle what comes. So I got to stay small. So I can't invite that person because I can't handle the rejection. I can't apply for that big, cool job that I want because I can't handle the failure or success that might come with that job. And so part of my goal that I'm still working on, part of my arc to become someone who can, handle it is just proving rep after rep that I can handle it. Expand the comfort zone a little bit, face a little fear every day. Shit just accumulates. But that's kind of, does that get at what you experience when you, let's say you want to invite someone somewhere and you go, nah, they don't want to fucking hang out.
It does. And thank you for, I mean, I just want to acknowledge that insight, very powerful insight that you've just verbalized. Yeah, for me, it's a little bit different. For me, it has to do with self-worth. Like no one wants to hear from me. No one wants to
Mm,
come have a drink. They're busy. They've got better things to do. And so it has to do that with that, um, maybe a little fear of rejection, but I think it goes a step past it for me in my thinking, which is like, just leave people alone, man. Just leave them alone. No one wants to hear from you. Which logically, I know that to not be true because I have people in my life who care about me and I care about them, right? Which is why I've begun to frame it like, hey, CT, would you ever want to go and have a drink? Right? That's a yes no thing. You notice the way that I phrased it before was, hey, I'm going to be out from 8 to 9 at this location. I would love if you could join me. Here I am.
mm.
Right? So that's information. That's an invitation, but that's not giving a will you or won't you, because that does sound like rejection sometimes.
It sounds more self-assured to me.
I'll be
The
here from
second,
8 to 9.
yeah. Like, hey,
I think it
I'm over
is.
here.
Yeah. This is what I'm doing. I invite you to join me. Right? That is a statement of here's my plan. You're welcome to jump on board. Instead
Right.
of being like, hey, you want to go out for a drink? And that just is like, you're gonna be there shutting the place down and getting pizza at 2 in the morning, 3, 4, 5 in the morning.
And and to go back to the masculinity conversation, the one that brings a bit of structure and direction, in my opinion, sounds more, it gives a more masculine, like, oh, that's a more masculine person. Hey, I'm going over here and doing this from this time to this time. If you want to, come on.
Yeah.
If not, it's cool. Right? So just to put some tangible words onto masculinity again, like that's providing some direction, right? It's providing some structure.
I agree with you. And I think that the best way to say no is often by saying yes. Right. So when someone's like, hey, we're gonna go out to such, we're gonna start getting ready, we're gonna meet for our first drink at 10. And instead of being like, nah, I can't do it, I'd be like, hey, I would love to join you from 8 to 9. I'm an early riser, so I would love to join you from 8 to 9. And if it looks like you're not gonna make it today, that's fine. We can do it another day. Right. So I've just said yes to my plan. To me, part of masculinity has to do with being target focused and not allowing someone that's not on target to pull me off to their place, which that's been like most of my life, right? Most of my life has been like, I'm keto. I went through a keto phase. I went through a Mediterranean phase where like had dietary restrictions or things like on a fast. People like just have a piece of pizza and be like, okay, right? Instead of being like, I've just told you that I'm on a keto diet and not eating that. And
Yeah.
you've just then offered me something that does, you know what I mean? And so for me, part of masculinity has to do, here's my plan. I'm staying focused. I'm not being deviated from this. And I enjoy, you're invited to join me here in my place, as opposed to me being like, hey, I wonder what we could do. Maybe we can, because that just opens me up to going to the weakest, concentration.
Right. Yeah. 100%, man. Seen that so many times in my life, or with a girlfriend, right, in the past. Come on, just stay the night, or stay up later, just stay the night. Well, I don't want to sleep alone. Okay, I gotta say yes, even though I know I sleep better by myself. I want to sleep in my own bed. I want to feel good tomorrow, but I'll just, you know what, not gonna like me if I go do that. Whereas no, once I started setting the boundaries and going, hey, actually, I sleep better alone. I'm gonna go do that. It's like the response is way better.
Mhm.
I think that they're gonna abandon me or something. And then it turns out that they just go, okay, I respect that.
Well, listen, this may come as a surprise to you. I'm not a female, so I can't speak for females, but what I've heard from many, many dozens and dozens of females is they actually appreciate when a man is like, I'm going to do this, right? That model that I've just said, many females appreciate that structure and respect a man that's like, here's my plan. I would love to fit you into it here or here. I would love if you could fit me into your plan there or there. Right.
Right. Right.
I've heard that from a lot of females where they're actually like, thank God. I mean, it's like taking charge of something, anything at all.
Exactly. Exactly. That's what I mean when you see couples in our day, right? Where the woman is kind of in charge, right? Powerful and yeah, the guy's like, okay, whatever the boss wants, I'm not gonna whatever you want to go. You want to go here, let's do it. Whatever you want. It's like, I don't know, man. I don't think it jives. Maybe it does. Maybe it works for other people.
I just want to speak on that. I see so many so if for viewers who aren't aware, I'm a gay man. I came out in the 80s. It has profoundly affected how I've moved through the world until recently. But one of the many benefits of my life has been the ability to observe closely. Right? So and so are going out and they invite me to go along. I'm the only one who's single, and I get to observe all these couples dynamics. How many times have I heard guys say, "Gotta go, the wife is calling me," and they sort of close their eyes with this like breathless pain in their chest, and like, the wife. This is the person you chose to spend your life with, and that's how you call her, is the wife? You know, or how many men like sigh and kind of look off and stare off in the distance when they're talking about their girlfriend, their partner, right? And to me, I'm like, I would hope that if someone thought about me, they would say with a little bit of excitement, like, oh, I get to go hang out. You know what I mean? And so using that, like for a man to show up in that way, I have to question, how long is your relationship going to last? And are you happy there? Right? What's the story I keep telling myself to keep playing small? You know, it's like, oh, I guess I better let her be the boss. I guess I don't want any waves, right? And so I don't think that's a long game plan to be completely submissive like that.
I don't either, and I'm here to tell young men, whatever age, right, that you don't have to do that. I mean, I swear, Magazine, after I was in Colombia for like South America for like 6 months, came back, joined a group in the US. It wasn't a men's group, but all men in a group. And I was appalled, man, at the things I heard. Yeah, the boss. Oh, the boss is next to me. Let me ask her. Or like the wife kind of controlling all of the social calendar, right? Well, let me see what my schedule is this weekend. Let me see if I can make it. You know, shit like that. I was like, what the fuck? So I'm here to tell men it is not toxic for you to have a backbone, have your own opinion, make decisions, take control and lead, right? In a loving way, respectful way, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah.
That's kind of where we're at.
I will say that in same-sex couples, this is an issue that comes up. It's like, it's unclear what the role should be.
Yeah, that's gotta be.
People are like, I don't know, you know, if you have two domineering men, it's like, that was a question for me, is that I don't know how to show up, and what is the right amount of assertion and what is the right amount of submission. And I was like that. I was very submissive in my relationship, and it was not successful. It was one of the things that contributed to me feeling like I was trapped, feeling like this person doesn't see me. You know what I mean? Like, I have no voice here. I'm just here to like provide material resources, and that's it. I hear that from a lot of men. Right? Like, if my wife didn't need money from me, she wouldn't be here.
Oh shit. You can't feel good.
If the house was paid off, I wouldn't be needed here. I hear that from a lot of men. A lot.
Right. And then what do we do as men when we don't feel needed? That's kind of part of our purpose, right? Like, I want to feel needed. I want to feel I'm of utility. So what do we do when we don't feel needed? We fucking go escape. Go see some hooker that makes us feel needed. Go just binge video games where we feel needed in our clan or team or whatever it is. You know? That's a big one.
It's huge. I mean, I hear this from my clients. I hear this from my friends. When they're going to go see the guma, right? When they're going to go see the side piece, they're like, I just feel like she sees me. I know
I
it's
feel
wrong. I know it's wrong, but and this is part of what a guma is. You know what I mean? I feel seen. We laugh. We actually I feel playful with her, and I don't get that at home. You hear that all the time. It's because I don't get X at home.
yeah, definitely. Definitely. If everything's good at the house, fuck. Ain't no need for that. Ain't no need for that. But yeah, that's what we do. That's what we tend to do as men. We don't feel needed. We go somewhere where we do. Yeah, man. On your point of in same-sex relationships, I'm seeing it. I've experienced it in man and women relationships where it's not based on gender, who's kind of more masculine and feminine. You gotta just feel that out as two same-sex people would, right? But I think in my experience, you can get an understanding of how someone is within a first few dates, right? Is that your experience in same-sex relationships where, okay, I can tell this person is more kind of on the feminine pole, if you will, and that works for me or whatever.
Yeah, well, I have not had a lot of experience with the relationship personally, and the ones I've had have all failed. I mean, they've all ended, and they've not all ended the way that I wanted to. So I would say that with time and with communication, that resolves. Tell me how I can show up for you in a way that works. Tell me what you need with this. Again, over time, you can't just give someone a list of bullet points and be like, tell me how to show up and I will. That's like Uber. You know what I mean? That's like a DoorDash. I want the order with this, that, and that. I will say though that for me, because I have a lot of masculine qualities, and people have always. It took me a long time to understand what alpha meant, because people always said you're so alpha, and I'm like, okay, I don't even know what that means, but okay. That people will see an attribute of my personality, my character, and then expect that in all other areas.
Mm.
But I'm also very sensitive, and I also really care about how I'm compassionate and I'm empathic, and so I really am interested in how someone else is feeling and how I can show up for them in a good way, right? Which I believe is a masculine quality. But a lot of times people think that assertiveness has to do with, again, other people in a relationship also can confuse and have conflated with me. This person's physically big and imposing, has a stern looking face, talks like this, that, and that. That means they're going to be in charge all the time and tell me what to do. And then that's what I want. And that, right? And then someone is being submissive. And I'm like, have a fucking opinion, where do you want to go out to eat? No, I don't know. Where do you want to go out to eat? My God, you answered a question with a question.
Right.
The psychologist Gottman talks a lot about this, right? Bids and terms. If I'm like, hey, where do you want to go out to eat? I'm making an invitation to you. I'm asking what you need because I want to provide it. And you're like, I don't really care. Right. And so, in my experience, I would say it's still a work in progress. But what I can say is that people look at me, make an assumption, and think I'll show up that same way in all other areas. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, that's true, man. Yeah, it's a dance. It's a figure it out as you go. My bad, I'm plugging my charger in. Fucking thing.
That illusion goes out the window anytime I see a dog in the street.
Yeah, you see the dog, you're like, oh.
They see me down
Come
on my
on.
knees, and I'm like, come here. The street people are like, what happened?
You're like, I got a house for you, buddy. Yeah, man. We're complex. I like Jason Wilson's definition of masculinity because he says you can't define it. Because as soon as you define it, now you put it in a box. And now we're limited. So now I can only be alpha. I can only be strong, dominant, whatever it is. Whereas, like he says, men we're comprehensive. we're strong and we're compassionate. We're, you know, aggressive and we can be nurturing too. You know, we're complex, we're comprehensive.
Men are comprehensive.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to a viewer from Facebook. This is Danny McAtee. This is my friend CT Duel. This is a men's group called The Forge, where we talk about issues that confront men and how we show up in the world and our relationships. On the lives, anyone's welcome. Men, women, anyone's welcome on the lives. The group is closed. We do have a men's group called The Forge, where we close the circle and we talk about things that we feel like or we can't talk about or don't talk about in our lives day to day. So welcome. The question that we pose today is two questions. What even is masculinity? Define it. What does it mean to you? And then we pose the question to each other, CT and I, what's the story I keep telling myself to justify staying small? I would love to have you join us on camera. We'll be here for a little bit longer today. In the comments, I put a link. If you hit that link, you'll jump on camera with us. Go that link right there. You can click that.
Don't be scared. Come on. Get on that camera. You gotta have a black cutoff to enter the call.
It's navy blue, but thank you. Okay.
Yeah, you gotta have a dark colored cutoff. No, just kidding. We don't have a dress
And this is
code,
my
but-
old station shirt, so I'm not sure if you can see the back.
Oh yeah.
But we got
Okay,
this,
that makes sense.
yeah,
Navy blue.
yeah, during the pandemic, we made some station shirts. Pandemic paramedic.
Pandemic paramedics.
Yeah, I found a box of my old work shirts, and I was just about to throw them away, and I was like, wait a minute. Cut off.
You're like, wait, I'm in Mexico.
Cut off workout shirts. Damn it. And it's like,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
a
man.
lot more breeze. It's been so many years since I've worn a cut off.
Dude,
It actually,
that's the way.
ventilates you out pretty good.
Hell yeah, man. Pits out. Fuck it. Great question you posed today, man. Appreciate you bringing that. I don't know where you get these fucking bombs of questions that when I read them, I go, ah, shit. But excellent question, man. And because this one is particularly good because as we saw today, you have to answer this question, you have to admit one of your core beliefs about yourself.
Mhm.
And those aren't always easy to identify, right?
Yeah.
If I were just to walk up to you on the street and go, hey, what's your core belief? What the fuck? What? So sometimes those are hard to identify. And like for my example, I won't be able to handle success, failure, rejection, whatever. So yeah, man, excellent topic.
That's the excellent insight. I would say if you walked up to me on the street, I know one of my core beliefs is you do not put fruit on pizza. That's it. No fish and no fucking fruit on pizza. Okay?
Fish, I would,
No.
yeah, I probably agree. Pero
Anchovies,
piña,
no,
pero
that's a no.
piña,
No, you don't do that.
la Guayana.
No, you're a communist. You cannot do that in my presence. No fruit
Next.
on pizza ever.
Forge group, men's group topic. Hawaiian pizza or no?
That is not pizza. That's a fucking pastry from Hawaii. Okay.
Cheese,
That's
mozzarella sauce.
nuts.
It's a heated topic. It's a heated topic, man.
We do not go walk into somewhere in Boston or New York City and go say, let me get some pineapple on that. Never be like, what is wrong with you? Fuck out of here.
You know who puts pineapples on fucking pizza? The Italians. So it must be legit. No, I don't think they do either.
Be careful.
I think we did that
careful.
shit.
Be very, very careful.
They're gonna put a hit out on me or some shit.
Be careful. My friends, it is the top of the hour. We've gotten to the end of our live today. Thank you for joining us. Some of you were a little weak and weren't able to come on camera today. That's okay. Maybe next week. Next week you'll reach down and find out where your balls are at. Come and talk.
Oh, you put
That
your
was a
fucking
challenge.
pants on.
Hurtful.
Hell
I
yeah,
cut the
it's all
sleeves
good.
off of my shirt and all of a sudden I thought I'm somebody. Don't be fooled.
This is a toxic
Listen.
masculinity.
Yeah, we talk about all these topics and we get really into it, but we also, have a little bit of fun. It can't be serious all the time. So
Absolutely.
that's, find your balls, come on camera, tell us what you think. There's no right or wrong answer. We just love hearing people's perspective because I personally learn from every perspective I hear, and I probably learn double from the perspectives I don't agree with. So always welcome. We're not here to prove anyone right or wrong. Just listen and just be present for each other. So thank you. We'll be back on Saturday at noon, 11 Pacific, 12 Central or Mountain, excuse me. So 11 a.m. Pacific on Saturday, we will be here and we will talk about another topic that's going to rock your world. So please come join us, and I look forward to hearing from you. CT, always good to see you, my man.
Likewise, brother. Thank you so much. Excellent topic. Excellent closeout. Thank you,
Thanks
brother.
for chopping it up. Talk to you in a few days.
All right, man. See you then.
Bye.